Well, this next landmark was one of only 3 all-black high schools in the state of Indiana. As Mary-Rachel explains, it's also where Michael Jackson won his first talent show. Now, alumni are desperate to save Gary Roosevelt High School from demolition.
The city shouldn't let it go. They should never let it go because this is history.
They always told us that we just had to be better than everybody else because we was all black.
Gary, Indiana in the 1920s was a booming city of steel, even nationally recognized for its innovative public schools. But not everyone was welcome in certain classrooms. And when the city attempted to integrate a few black students to its all-white Emerson High School in 1927, it ended in disaster.
White students walked out of Emerson after attempts of integration, and the school corporation, in reaction, decided to build this school, and then it went on to again be a beacon of black excellence in the city of Gary.
Roosevelt High School was built in 1930, and it was one of only 3 all-African-American high schools in the state of Indiana, a source of pride for many residents here in Gary.
So this was our center of culture, and many of the city people that were in positions of authority or let's say influence were Rooseveltians. But this school was always considered a sacred spot.
But this sacred spot has fallen on hard times. A faulty heating system, coupled with a polar vortex in 2019, caused a series of pipes to burst. And it was the final straw that closed the 90-year-old historical building for good.
With the cleanup of the water damage and mold is $8 to $15 million. So that's just to get it back to how it was operating previously.
From the school district's perspective, we're not planning on opening the school for a school district, but I don't see that the school district would ever use it for a school again.
There's that historical aspect of it.
Gary Mayor Jerome Prince is all too familiar with the rich history of Roosevelt. And in an effort to rebuild his city, and perhaps Roosevelt, he's turned to Gary's most famous family of singers for a little help.
I've had at least a few conversations with members of the Jackson family who have a renewed interest in helping to reimagine, as we call it, the city of Gary, which includes at least some desire to help facilitate a renovation on the Roosevelt School site. My primary focus is to rebuild the city.
So is this part of the original structure?
This is the original structure.
This is home to me, you know. I hate to see it in this condition.
And while the school undoubtedly served as a point of pride for Gary's black community in its heyday, its strong alumni base is determined to keep the Roosevelt legacy alive for future generations.
We are interested in being involved in whatever happens to the building, that we are staying ready to assist them and mainly be some part of the decision making.
To the Gary Roosevelt squad.
Youngsters don't know the history of Roosevelt, and I think they should know about the only black school at that time. It's a place that I always cherish.
Mary-Rachel Redman, Inside Indiana Business.